Hi everyone, hope you're well and looking forward to doing some new gassing on. So this season I thought we'd take an outdoor approach. After all, we spend a lot of our time outdoors working and meeting people. So we're going to have a wander around with a few people and we're going to look to gas on with those. So out to the country and on to our first guests. So when that red light goes on, that means you're live on Good Morning Britain. I'm going to include that in the clip. So good morning everybody, hope everybody's well. And today, where am I and who am I with? Who have I found today?
Well, I'm Rebecca Hearn and we're up Clent Hills in Worcestershire, and we can see over to Birmingham and the West Midlands.
What a place to come and find you, Rebecca. And first of all, thanks for coming along today. I know we've been plotting this for a while, haven't we?
It's been on the cards for a bit.
We have been on the cards to do. Well, we're going to do a new gassing on series, so you're my first interviewee for this new season.
That's
so
an honour.
How's that feel? So Rebecca, give us a little insight about yourself. Where have you come from? What do you do? What's your roles in the industry?
Yeah, sure. So I'm a contaminated land consultant now, but sort of like most people in contaminated land, sort of a bit of a circuitous route to get here. So I guess starting off with like school, I was always interested in the outdoors, and I guess my parents always said that I was playing with mud and rocks and things, so always interested in being outdoors and the environment, and did a geography and sports science undergraduate degree at Loughborough, so that I could find my way to my sports fixtures was what people said that degree was for. And came out of that and had really enjoyed sort of the physical geography, geomorphology, but also as part of the sports science, the physiology and chemistry elements.
Right.
So I was like, what should I do next? And the only sensible thing to do was to do a master's. So
as you do, yeah.
I did a master's in environmental science, mainly to buy a little bit of time because I had hoped to do a PhD. And I didn't get any funding, so that sort of dropped off the radar, and I went and started looking for jobs, and I had done one module that mentioned the words contaminated land.
Right.
So I thought, that sounds quite interesting, and applied for a few different types of roles, like really broad ranging, and just thought, I'll see what I get. And I was interviewed by David Williams at NTech at the time, now bought out a few times. And I was playing rugby at the time, and he was a rugby man.
That link, yeah.
And then, I just thought, this seems great, seems like a good fit. I hope they like me. It meant that I could move home and live for free off my parents for a little while, save up some pennies. And just landed in contaminated land.
Yeah, well, we're going to delve into your, where you are now, what you're doing now. So that's a really nice little intro. We're going to take a wander while we're up here. We've got to enjoy the as you say, the marvellous Clent Hills and the environment around here. So we're going to learn a little bit more about you and also about Murray Environmental as well. So lovely. Thanks, Rebecca. Brilliant. So glasses on, glasses off. So. Do you know what? It's nice coming out for a wander, though, isn't it, Rebecca? Just to now up at Clent. Do you follow much of the activities up here? Have you, some of the nature and diversity stuff that's going on? Have you seen what they've been doing on this particular piece of land here?
We come up for visits quite often. It's a lovely place for us to bring the dog and things. But so in this area, they've decided to fence it off and allow the species to regenerate on this area. I think there's a couple of different spots across the hills that they're doing different, they're taking different approaches. Further down in the valley, they've looked at where they've cut back the bracken. Previously they've looked at laying the bracken down to increase the organic content, to try and allow the soils to regenerate. But there's a few different things going on, which is great to see.
Well, also I was looking at the path. It sounds a bit sad, this, but the pathways were starting to erode here as well, weren't they? With the washout from, obviously this winter's been pretty prominent, hasn't it? The rainfall, Does this play out a lot? Do you find this the environmental impacts that are going on in the world and the climate change in your work, is that having a big impact on what you do and how you work?
Yeah, I think from the contaminated land risk assessment perspective, the consideration of climate change is vital now, with us understanding how extreme weather events might affect our assessments, but also in the way we work with others. So talking about collaboration, understanding how climate change is being assessed and dealt with through buildings, and how people want to approach kind of their ethos towards things as well. So that helps us align with different people. And
should we wander around up this way?
I think over the other side we'll be able to see some of that roughing of the path.
Yeah, no, it's good. We're getting our steps in, but no, the environmental challenges are a big thing, and I talk about it as well to some of my MVQ level 2 learners. You know, we're dealing with brownfield sites at the end of the day, aren't we? A lot of it, you know, and again, especially here when you get West Midlands way, some of the challenges there.
Yeah.
That's a good question for you, Rebecca. What's your most challenging job? Obviously, you don't have to disclose where and who the client was, but what's been your most challenging?
I think challenges are really varied, aren't they? You can have challenges in terms of like the actual environment that you're working in. So we'll all remember a couple of years ago the summer of Britain becoming Greece.
40 degrees for 6 or 7 days, wasn't it? Yeah.
So site works during those types of conditions and managing the workforce on site, making sure everyone's safe, and sort of explaining to a client, well, we are going to have some delays because of this, when they're sort of time and money focused. That's a challenge. But technical challenges, I think. Most recent technical challenge, actually on a site where the drilling works were completed, the activities were all completed really, really well. We were ahead of timescale, and then heavy silting up in the wells. So how was best for us to develop the wells to remove the silt without putting anything into the ground? And that basically the answer was quite a lot of hard work.
But you've learnt new things, new techniques, or new approaches,
and also speaking to others and saying, "Oh, what have you done in these situations?" So using a challenge as an opportunity to learn, I think, is really important to continue development.
Excellent. Well, we're over towards the woodpile area of Clent. It's just nice we can see the gully that we've just walked around. So. I'm just going to flick the camera this way. We've got the sun here. So one other element that we were going to have a chat about was the MIDLE, Midlands Land Events.
Yeah.
Now, tell me a little bit more about this project that you've got on the go.
So we call it MIDLE.
MIDLE?
Because we are in the middle of the country.
Excellent.
But essentially, we noticed that there was not a regional land forum in the Midlands, and we thought, well, that's a bit strange because there's a lot of brownfield sites being developed, and it's a strong talking point across the Midlands because of the industrial legacy here. I guess we were a bit jealous of we had to go to the east or up to Yorkshire.
Because there is an Anglian land forum, isn't there? So not to give them a plug, but you know, these groups are valuable groups, aren't they?
There are many land forums, and really it was just, is there anything local? We couldn't find anything, so we did a trial event to see whether there was an appetite for it, and we thought, this is a thing. It's evolved. We've set it up as a community interest company, which is different from other regional forums. But the aim is really to knowledge share in a caring way, and invite something that we're really passionate about, invite opinions and thoughts and ideas from all career stages. Because a lot of these events you go to, we've talked about a lot of grey hair potentially.
That's it. You've got to say that very carefully. But
I mean, I've got a few greys myself now, so.
But it is. We've got to future-proof the industry, haven't we? You know, and you know, people in their middle stroke latter parts of their careers. You know, where are the next generation coming from? And I think I've met a lot of your delegates at events. And it's quite nice to see the diversity of people there, you know. So,
that's really nice to hear, Neil. That's something we're really striving for, that diversity. Diversity of thought obviously helps drive development and change. So
that's it. And also career opportunities for young people. You know, people might be scratching their heads at, you know, school or university, but you know, there's a lot of doors that open when you get into the contaminated land sector, isn't there?
Yeah, I think the sciences in general, and just giving children the sort of foresight that they could do something different, like you were saying with your son's interest in what you do. And I've got lots of nephews, and you know, they know that I do something to do with soil, and you know, they ask me questions and are very inquisitive. So
all
we need
kids
to
love
foster that.
all kids love digging holes, don't they? Yeah. Give a kid a shovel, and they're always dig a hole. Excellent.
Absolutely.
Is there any Midlands land events planned? Is there any future ones coming up that we need to know about?
There are. So one thing that we're really keen on is signposting to other people. So we don't want to reinvent the wheel.
No.
On our LinkedIn, each month we're consistently signposting webinars, technical learning opportunities that are all freely available.
Good CPD for people.
Yeah, CPD for people. Yeah. And the next event we're going to do, we're actually going to be speaking at a YCLF event, so a Yorkshire event.
Oh yeah, Yalpac, yep, I know.
So
them.
we want to try and integrate with other forums so that we've got a consistent message going across. So we've started to discuss with other forums what they're doing, and the last event that you were at with us was Christmas with Enclog.
We did. We had fun there, didn't we? Yeah. By the way, there's a link. I'll pop a link up that we can relive some of that. I recorded it, but a really good event, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I think using what other people are doing and working with them, signposting to other people, and then we'll be looking to put another awesome event on in September, October time.
Excellent, yeah. And secretly, I hear you're a golfer as well, Rebecca. Is that true?
I try to play golf, yeah.
So just a word of warning, guys, if you have any golf days and you want Rebecca to join you, I've heard you play for handicap as well, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. I won't disclose what it is. She can fill that in on the day when she comes. So brilliant. No, that's great. Lovely. Okay, Rebecca, we've been for a nice little wander. Look at the views over here. Where are we looking to here? Have you got any geographical direction in here? Or?
Well, we're looking over towards Hagley and West Hagley.
West Hagley. So Worcestershire this way, West Midlands
that way.
Over that way. Yeah. So I think it's going to be a hot day later on today as well. It's got that feeling. So one thing, while we've been walking up, you've been giving me some interesting bits and pieces about your work and roles. So give me a little insight into Murray Environmental. What's Murray all about? Where's it come from? And
so Murray Environmental, we're a small consultancy, contaminated land focused, but essentially Kerry Murray and myself met whilst working at WSP, and I decided to leave the industry and went on a big bike ride.
That's what I'm thinking, isn't it?
Yeah. And whilst I was away, I kept in touch with Kerry, and she was sort of starting a family, and found the commute was getting too much and wanted to have more of a balance. So she started up Murray Environmental, aiming to support other consultants and support the industry. I kept in touch and had a couple of job interviews when I came back and joined Kerry, and we've grown probably slowly, but in a way that we really think is true to our values. So we're very value focused as an organisation. We want to show care through everything we do, that, you know, care for each other, care for the environment, care for our clients, care for our outputs.
Bit of a lifestyle company, would you call it?
Yeah. And we get lots of interesting projects now, and we're at a point of a bit of change. So we still support other consultants, but we're getting end clients coming to us now saying, oh, it's a bit of a bespoke job and we're not sure who we need. And one of our selling points, I suppose, is that we can bring in different associates, and that collaborative working is something that we're really keen on doing. We know our limits with our technical areas, so we try and get in a bespoke team to deliver bespoke projects.
Excellent. Well, that collaborative working, it was something I was going to ask you about. We've got some people coming along the path now. We'll try not to put them on the camera. We've got a dog joining us as well. So, is that important to you, collaborative working and different projects that you get involved with?
Yeah, I think we mentioned earlier, working with people and it being a personable job is really key for us. and I think to get the best outcomes, that's really important. I think knowing where your technical area starts and stops is important, but also seeing how it integrates with others. And unless you've had like that nice one-to-one chat with somebody and saying, like you were saying, oh, how hard is it actually to build this?
Yeah,
or what are the constraints here? Or speaking to your contractors, or can you actually get a rig in there?
Yeah,
and collaborating is great.
Yeah. Well, again, we were talking on the way up a bit. I was giving some design examples. You know, crossing over. Do you meet many people from my side of the industry? Do you get involved with that construction phase very often, or is that?
We don't really get involved with the construction phase, but it's something that we're very keen to not just be sort of passing off to the construction phase, which I think happens quite a lot when projects have gone through or going through remediation. Oh, that will be dealt with as part of the construction phase, but being more thoughtful in that, and having that early engagement and saying, if we have a job, and say, oh, we'll touch base with Neil and see whether this is actually possible with these site constraints. So
it's key, isn't it, to get all the bits of the jigsaw to line up, isn't it? That's what I always think of, and I use that, reference. So lovely, that's really great, lovely, thank you. So while on today's little interview, Rebecca, you're going to take the challenge, try and get across on the pole, or are you going to stick to the clumps?
Safety first, right? But adventure is one of our values.
Is it adventure?
So.
Please don't fall in the mud. No pressure, no pressure. Oh, that was a lucky stump there.
Safe haven.
Yeah. God, imagine if that had gone horribly wrong. That would have been fun, wouldn't it? So, well done. Okay, so Rebecca, have you enjoyed a nice walk over Clent today?
Yeah, it's been beautiful.
The sun is easing up a little bit now.
It's just disappearing behind a cloud, but not in time for our walk up.
Yeah, well, we did have to clamber up the hill. We're here by the actual 4 stones. I don't know the historical facts about any of these, but it's just a nice place to come, isn't it? And just to take in the closing shots of as we look over towards Wolverhampton, I think, in the distance there. So Rebecca, it's been a pleasure to meet you today, and thank you for taking the time to come up to Clent. And I'm going to put up your details for Murray Environmental so everybody can come and catch you.
Brilliant, thanks Neil.
Brilliant, lovely. Thank you. Cheers.